All right. Well, it is 7 o'clock, 7:01. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I am Mr. Sarsany, the high school counselor at Beecher High School. And thanks for joining tonight on this very important topic college and college prep night, post secondary planning opportunities after high school. This presentation, I actually have done a couple of times already. I've done it to the seniors. This year, I usually try to give it to the juniors towards their end of their junior year and seniors in the beginning of the year. Um, but I also wanted to offer it to the community, to the parents to kind of know, what is out there and the whole college application process and um, I have some guests with us here also. Olivet Nazarene has joined us. Kimberly, Tyler, and Anna. Is that right? And I think there was one more, Scott. So they are here as well to answer any questions, or if there's something I miss, which is very possible, they will help with that. I would say let's hold off the questions just to make sure that we're kind of going on time. I want to make sure that we're done by 8 o'clock as I promised. And so, all questions, if you want to wait till the presentations are done, and all four of us or five of us can help tackle any of the questions that you guys may or may not have. Um, there's going to be a lot of information that I'm going to throw at you. So if you do miss anything, don't sweat it. It's recording, and you can always email myself or even Olivet, who we partner with here. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is here's the goals for today or for tonight. Options after high school. I kind of put in here. It's ultimately the four-year college application process, and going to go over some deadlines, some transcript, test scores, letters of rec, essays, scholarships, and towards the end, Miss Kimberly Strickland from Olivet is going to do a demo of FAFSA for the parents, which is awesome. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, out of high school, the students don't necessarily have to go to college. There's other programs out there. One of them is military, and we actually have a military week coming up. It's the week of November 6th through the 9th, where every branch comes in at Beecher High School. So there's usually a recruiter from everyone besides, I think, the Coast Guard is the only one that doesn't come in. But again, that week is a great week for students to kind of, ask questions to the representatives or which branch they may have some interest in. There's a lot of cool things that the military brings to offer. One of them being is their tuition reimbursement, as you guys may know about, and also I have fantastic benefits as well. We don't offer the ASVAB at Beecher High School. That is a mandatory test that they got to take. But it's pretty easy to take the ASVAB at their locations. The recruiters have locations, I believe, in Chicago Heights, and I think they have them in Bradley or Bourbonnais. They have them. So if students are interested in military, it's a good way for them to kind of chat with them during that military week. All the branches are there. It's actually Veterans Day, I think, November 6th. So that's why we're going to have it there. And they're all lined up. So I wanted to make sure that I wanted to talk to you guys about them a little bit as well. Another thing that is really popular, and some students aren't necessarily have to go to the traditional route for colleges, and there are different ways that you can get certificates. There's different ways that you can have pretty much like a straight up trade almost. But but it's also a certificate. Like you can go to a junior college and go for real estate and get your real estate license. You can go to junior college and, do automotive, and you can do traditional trades and whatnot. We know that some students, may not go like do a formal education for a variety of reasons. So there's all sorts of careers, not just like construction or plumbing, but you can do like vet tech, cosmetology. Obviously, about the trades, the plumbing, the electrical, but a lot of junior colleges really have different certificates that you can do. And it's usually about 16 months, 18 months to 2 years. And you're able to, maybe get your real estate license or manufacturing. Um, in March, there is something called the Will County Career Expo, where it has all of these different trades, as well as the career fair that we have at Beecher High School. Probably going to have Flip It, probably going to do 1 year career expo, 1 year Beecher High School career fair. So, but I wanted to make sure that you guys know that I think in March we are going to go to the Will County Career Expo. I think that's in Romeoville, where it talks about all of these different careers. It's kind of a different way to look at college. I put this up because it's a visual, and I think a lot of students appreciate that because, not just those options that I showed you, for the military, as well as for, those career expos, those certificate choices. Here's your choices for when you go to college. So you have a 2-year community college that you can go to. And like I mentioned before, you can get a certificate, or you can get a 2-year associate's degree and transfer and try to get a bachelor's degree. Okay. Or you can go from high school, which most of go to a 4-year college, and then you get your bachelor's degree and you get your master's degree from that. And then from there, you can go get a professional degree, either medical, law, technology, etc. And then you can either go and you can get a doctorate degree. I think students like to see this because it's kind of easier for them to have a nice visual to see, because it's kind of hard to grasp sometimes for when they're like, well, what's a bachelor's degree? What's an associate's degree, and this and that. So I know I appreciate it when I was in high school when I saw this. So moving on, I was talking to you guys a little bit about community colleges. We do have a community college week that we're going to have at Beecher. It's not going to be until like the spring. I don't have the dates set, but when we talk about our local community colleges, your main community college, which is our in-district community college, which is Prairie State College. That is the community college that we get a discount for students who take classes there. Okay. There's also Joliet Junior College, Kankakee Community College, Moraine Valley College, and Palos Heights. There's different community colleges that students are able to kind of talk to. When we have that community college week, I guess, kind of like military week, we also have a college prep week or whatever, or have a college week. We're also going to have a community college week. Students can get exposed to them, talking to the reps when they come in and they visit. So just wanted to kind of give you a heads up there. So college visits, we have a variety of colleges that come in throughout the school year. Why students, should take a look at the colleges that come in. Usually it's during lunchtime. Sometimes we have them during study hall, but it's difficult because the study hall is only like 20 minutes. So it's very difficult. But really, colleges can give you the representatives can give you a snapshot of what their college is about. And it really kind of gives a demonstrated interest if you talk to the school that's there, if they want to see if it's a good fit. They can put their name and they can talk to the rep. And sometimes those people who are the representatives are reading their application. So it's very good opportunity for students to do that. So how do they know if these colleges are coming in? Well, it's pretty easy because their table is set up in our lunchroom, and so every student is allowed to talk to the students, and they can ask them questions. They can ask them anything. A lot of students will take advantage of that. Some students don't, but nonetheless, they're there to answer any questions that they may or may not have that students can have. I know next week, I think U of I is coming in from Champaign, and I know Olivet comes in. I know a lot of local colleges usually come in, but it's a good way to start, even as a sophomore and junior, to kind of start seeing, what's out there. But anyway, I'm going to move on. So here's some popular colleges that usually visit. Eastern, Olivet. These are our more local colleges that come in all the time. We also have other colleges that just randomly sign up and they'll come and do a college visit. But like I said, it's good practice. It's good for students to talk to them about the programs that they have, or different, like I said, showing demonstrated interest. They'll get their names. They can, hey, this student talked to us, and they can kind of, when they fill out the application, that shows an interest in there. So, but I just wanted to show you this graph. You guys probably knew, but these are our popular schools that most of our kids usually end up going to. A lot of kids have been going out of state. I don't know why. I love our state of Illinois. Okay, so that was just the beginning of the presentation. Are we ready now for a deep dive here? Because I only got like 20 more minutes. Okay, so we're going to take a deep dive now into the application process, and a lot of information, but I'll try to go as slow as I possibly can. It's a little different from when parents, when we went to college, if we went to college, but nonetheless, the same principles will apply. And again, if you miss something, we'll have a question, a Q&A afterwards. So the whole process, first things first, these are kind of tips for, if you're going to go to a 4-year college. I would highly recommend our students, and I tell them not to use our Beecher email address, because it does deactivate the day they graduate. And so they need to find or get a personal email. I recommend not having like Fortnite22@gmail. Make sure it's a really respectable, like I have Steve Sarseny@yahoo.com. And I tell the kids that, and most of them do. They do have that. I would find an organization system we use, and I'm going to talk to you guys a lot about this. We use School Links. It's very, very, it's an excellent platform for students to research colleges. They're able to use scatograms there. They're able to see if they're in the 50 percentile when they take, if they are on and I'll touch more about this when they're debating whether or not to send in their test scores. They also, we send transcripts through School Links, and it's just a wonderful process for them to use to research schools and careers as far as that goes. And so that's one way to be, organized. Visit and learn about colleges. Sign up for their mailing list. The best thing that colleges do is, they'll mail you stuff and they'll give you some information. Yeah, there's some marketing involved to that, but nonetheless, you'll be on top of, if there's certain certain things that you want to know about for certain schools, and it's very important also to visit the colleges. I would say probably the sophomore and junior year, I would start, visiting and learning about the colleges. Um, I know usually seniors will go on a couple, visits for the colleges, which is awesome. And the students at Beecher are able to get 2 years, or not 2 years, 2 days of visiting colleges. So there's a couple ways to apply. Number one is the top two are the most popular ones. Without a doubt, the most popular one is Common Application, but there's also every school, and Olivet, I would assume, does too. They have their school specific, they have their own application portal. It's simply, if you're thinking about just applying to one or two schools, then really I would probably go onto their website and then just create an account and apply through their school specifically. After you apply there, you're going to have to create maybe a portal, and then they'll send you stuff through their portal, and you'll have access to that portal. They'll say, send me a transcript or send me a letter of recommendation or whatnot. So that's the school specific. A lot of kids do that who just want to, like I said, want to apply to, they know where they want to go. So they just apply through their website. Common Applications, very popular, and I would highly recommend most of our students do use that. And what that does, it allows students to create one application, and that is linked to pretty much every school. Is it linked to Olivet too? No? Okay. But most schools will have Common Application. Um, and the cool thing about Common Application too is that it links well with school links. So that makes it easier for them to stay organized. They can use it for, transcripts. They can use it to, if they need letters of recommendations, it will say all that on school links. So we usually do that. I actually help the students link it together when they're in the senior classroom. So that part you don't have to worry about. But those are the two more popular ways to apply, either through the website, school specific, or the Common Application. The Collation app and the QuestBridge you're going to see, but those are for very, very high selective schools, and I would probably avoid those. Okay, so a lot of times kids will ask me, what are the requirements to get in certain schools? I'll take them specifically right to their website. If their websites, all colleges will have application requirements. They'll have a checklist on their college website, whether or not ACTs, test optional, or you need a transcript. All schools need a transcript, but they'll give you a list of things that you need to hand in. Okay. I also recommend students need to use their legal name. So, for example, they want to use what's on their birth certificate or maybe their passport. Like a lot of people call me Steve, but actually my real name is Stephen, Stephen. So I use Stephen. So you need to use your full legal name. Besides the application itself, it is going to cost probably $50. If you are on a free and reduced, or there are some ways to get around that, you can get the application fee waived. There's transcripts, there's essays, which I'm going to talk to you guys more about, letters of rec, test scores. Some schools, though it's kind of fading out, some schools you have to do an interview. Okay, so when you get to like the Common Application, or the school specific, and when you start applying, then becomes the question of, do you do regular decision, early action, all of these different acronyms, all these different ways that you can apply. And I'll just kind of put my little spiel here that so the first one's called early decision, and this is a big deal. So this is a binding agreement. So if a student um, applies early decision and they get accepted, they pretty much have to, well, yeah, they pretty much are have to go there, and they all their applications for any other school will be dropped. Okay, so you're kind of stuck. It's a binding agreement. So I always tell kids, and they kind of like it. I go, it's kind of like being engaged, is what I say. um, and never really see REA, restrictive early action, or single choice early action. Those are some very high selective schools, and I would avoid that one also. The main ones that you really want to go to when you start applying for those is early action. This is a non-binding, no strings attached plan. This is where your scholarship money is often tied to in this deadline. Okay. So whenever students are going to apply, I highly recommend, and I tell them definitely apply early action, because that's where the scholarship money is often tied to. Most public schools will have early action as well as a regular. So if you miss the early action, which is fine, which is November 1st is the deadline usually for early action, they'll usually have a regular decision that you can apply to, and that's usually, I'm going to say, January or February or something like that. There's also rolling admissions. I know University of Iowa does rolling admissions. What that says is that there's really no deadline. You apply, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you will get a decision. So early action, non-binding, no strings attached. That's definitely the way to go. The deadline, the application deadline, the number one deadline that you need to look forward to is November 1st. I always tell kids a lot before, do it before November 1st. Try to get everything in, as soon as possible, even like October 20th or 10 days beforehand, because you can imagine, and I'm sure all of that can attest to this, that they're getting just loads and loads of application and stuff coming into them. And so to be on the safe side, I would highly recommend trying to get everything in, and by November 1st, probably like October 15th, October 20th or 25th, something like that, to make sure you get everything in. I would not wait until the last second to turn everything in. And most public universities will have that November 1st date. I want to speak a little bit too, because it's already 7:24. Wow. And the transcripts. So transcripts are, all schools need transcripts. Okay. How that is through school links. It's through a department called Parchment. Okay. So schools will request a transcript. Okay. And they need to have that transcript in by November 1st. Again, if it's a regular decision, that's fine. You can have it in after. But if you want to be considered for scholarships, you definitely need to have it in by November 1st, and transcripts and everything, all that. Some schools do have what they call self-reported. Like, I think University of Illinois is a self-reported school. Like, so students will have to go in their portal and actually write down their classes and the grades that they get. So they're going to have to get an unofficial transcript from myself, or they'll have to get it from me. So and then they have to report their grades in, like, the University of Illinois. They have their own little portal there, so they have to self-report everything in there, list their classes, their grades. This is also somewhere where mom and dad really should probably take a second eye and look at these when they self-report, because you want to make sure it's correct. And so I think, having an adult's eye, having mom or dad double check it is a good idea. Test scores. So here's the question of test scores. Okay. So should I go test optional or should I not? So most colleges now are test optional. Okay. Again, I would check the school websites for that. One of the really coolest things on school links is when you go and research a college, it will tell you this bottom line here. It says mid 50 percentile. So if you want to send your test score in, I would highly recommend seeing if your test score is in that mid 50 percentile of what their last year's acceptance was for freshmen. If it is in there and it's or even higher, I would recommend probably handing in your test score to support your file. Okay. Also, you need to research the college to see if there's any scholarships that are attached to, like Olivet may have scholarships attached to an ACT score and SAT score. I'm not sure. Maybe they can talk to you about that later. But most schools will have that. Okay. Either way, okay, I would, like I said, consider the impact of the scholarship. Some schools may require it, but a lot of schools are pretty much optional these days. So you just have to do your research and you have to see if you're in that 50 percentile, which I tell the kids, and there's an excellent way of doing that on school links. I don't have that loaded up yet, but that I can show you maybe later after it. So reporting test scores, okay. Unofficial is like basically they want a test score, they want it officially sent from College Board, okay, or ACT. We cannot send their test score for students, so it has to be sent through College Board. And how they do that is they go onto their College Board account and then they just log into their ACT or College Board account, and then they they send it to whatever school they're going to go to. And it's going to cost probably like $4 to $5, maybe a little more actually. Also, there's probably it's a 3-week process because what they do is they send them out in batches. So they probably wait like 2 weeks and they send it out a batch, and they wait another 2 weeks and send out a batch. That's just how College Board does it. So, like I said, we put our test scores on our transcript, but that's unofficial. And the reason that is because you get into these bigger schools who have to type in all these ACT and SAT scores. There's usually some errors. Not that we make errors like that, but there could be some errors. So that's why they want official scores from College Board or from ACT. A quick note, you notice that ACT at BHS on October 26th, believe it or not, we only had 15 or 17 students to register for that. So they actually moved it to Crown Point. So we did not have the minimum 35 students. And so they moved that ACT to Crown Point. All the students were notified of that. So just wanted to throw that out there. Letters of rec. I'm going to go through this really quickly. There's something called FERPA. Okay, all students are going to have to do this FERPA. Okay, FERPA basically is what's called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It's a federal law to protect the privacy of students. So students are given, they're going to go into like the Common App, or they're going to go into the regular self-reported or the application process on the website, and they're all going to have an option to waive their right to access their recommendations. And basically what that is if you want, we highly suggest that students waive their rights, because it shows colleges that the student is not afraid of what is written. And some colleges actually have disregarded letters if not waived, believe it or not. So Student gets a letter of recommendation from a teacher. Student says, yes, you can send that letter directly to the college. I do not need to read it. That's basically what you do when you waive your FERPA. Okay. If they don't waive it, then that means that they want to see what it's read. Well, what does that tell the school? So we highly recommend that you waive your FERPA. Okay, so I always tell students letters of recommendation are you want to try to get them from an academic teacher. Usually you want to probably try to get it from a core teacher from their sophomore or junior or even senior year. Um, I always tell students to try to get it a couple of weeks at least. Give them a couple of weeks because they're busy. They're teaching, during the school year, and the only time they can write it is pretty much at home. There is a thing that we give them for students. It's called a brag sheet. So students are able to fill out like a brag sheet. It's like a resume. They can do it on School Links too, which kind of helps teachers and myself as a counselor. Whenever we do write a letter of recommendation, we were able to write a good one because they kind of filled out some information about themselves. But the main thing too is see if the school needs a letter of rec. Like if they don't need a letter of recommendation, don't send one because that just tells them that they can't follow directions. So if they're not needing a letter of recommendation, don't send it. Okay. If it is optional, sure, absolutely, you can send it. And I've been told this too. If there's you can send a letter of recommendations from 1 to 5. Admissions have told me that 1 is sufficient enough. Okay, you don't need all 5 to send them. Okay, essays. Here's some tips. I don't want to go into the weeds of this. This is more something that I kind of put together. So so if there's a personal essay on an application and it's optional, I would say you probably want to do it because if especially if it's a school that you really want to get into. So if it is optional personal essay, if it's optional and that's a school you really, really want to get into, I would highly recommend doing it. Just the fact that it shows them that you're really motivated and you really want to get in there. Make sure someone proofreads it. It should be the student's voice. It shouldn't be for length. Quality is better than quantity. I have some sample prompts too that I also give the students in my office. Usually a good tip is a third be about the experience and 2/3 about the student. So say a student, his grandma or something has made a big difference in their life. And so you should write about a third about that experience. And then 2/3 should be about how it has changed your life. So it should be about the student, a third about the grandma and what she was about, and then 2/3 about you and how that impacted your life. So that's kind of like a rule of that I usually goes pretty well for students. I also have a college application process in School Links that has a really good video on how to write, different essays. And Mrs. Lucia, the English teacher, does a phenomenal job, our English teacher, on how to write essays and personal statements. Okay, so I'm doing good on time. So last thing, and it's all tied to scholarships. So the best, by far, the best place to get scholarships is from the actual school, obviously, because they will renew scholarships every year, going through year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, they're going to honor that $20,000, as opposed to there's a lot of different scholarships out there. There is local scholarships, there's state scholarships, and then there's, more of this country or US scholarships. So one of our local ones is through the Beecher Community Foundation. They have a really good one, local one, and they all come out in March. So all the local ones, like the Beecher ones, will come out in March. You could also use like a free database, like FastWeb and KPAX is pretty good. But there's also going to be where I'm going to put our local ones will be on goingmerry.com. Those are the local ones from the foundation, from the Beecher Lions and stuff like that. You also want to check your work and your community, your employer, to see if they have any scholarships to offer as well. But the big thing, you guys, is hands down is what Kimberly is going to show you is the FAFSA. That is the drive of everything. Obviously, yeah, the school where they end up going, that says a lot. That's going to tell you how much money you're going to get from the school. But you want to fill out that FAFSA, because that says pretty much, that gives you the bottom line of how much it's going to cost. So I think that's all I got, Kimberly. I'm going to stop. I know that was fast, but the good thing about Beecher is that I can have students come into my office anytime, because it's a smaller school, which is awesome. And the parents can get a hold of me anytime, which is awesome. So now I'm going to give it over to Kimberly and from Olivet, and she's going to, you can go ahead. Can you get on, Kimberly?
Perfect. Not yet. You'd have to give me control. Or control.
All right.
I think it's the 3 dots again.
3 dots.
Next to the red hang up button.
All right. Of course, it's different. Report a problem. Use phone. Turn on. Apply. Open full screen. Change. Is it change layout? No.
Anna, how does he give me?
I stopped presenting, so.
Control.
Host. Host.
Yeah. It was something with host.
You might also try hovering over Kimberly's square and clicking the 3 dots that are on top of her when you hover. That might provide you with an option. Though I am shooting from the hip, I'm not for sure on that.
It says remove from the call.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Sure. That's probably not the right.
Present now. Raise hand, more options, settings.
Are you in the 3 dots on my square?
On the bottom?
Yeah.
No, you want to go to my square and select the 3 dots.
Yeah.
Does it
say? Hey, excuse me. Hi. Kimberly, try to click at the bottom of the screen right now, the square that says present now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in now. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm in now. Let's see.
Oh.
Got it.
I see. I thought I knew what I was doing.
You did great.
Okay, so thank you so much. This is the FAFSA. So this is what it's going to look like on your guys' end, hopefully. I know that they're in a trial run. I think Anno and Kimberly were talking about that. boy, it really was something last year, but I think there are going to be some changes to it, and this is so important. So go ahead, Kimberly.
All right. Thanks so much, Steve. And thank you guys for having us. I'm Kimberly Strickland, Director of New Student Financial Aid at Olivet Nazarene University. And I have my team on tonight. So they'll just wave at you. Tyler's here, Scott is here, and Anna is here. So when you come visit Olivet, we will be the people that you'll meet with to discuss financial aid. As a partner school, with Beecher, we are happy to help you guys no matter what college your students are going to. You can always reach out to us if you get stuck, if you want to come up and complete the FAFSA just to make sure, or if you just have some questions, we are happy to help. I will give you that telephone number. It is area code 815-928-5603. I know we're going to push through the presentation pretty quickly, but wanted you to know how to contact us. Again, that's area code 815-928-5603. Pretty briefly, any student and all students who are accepted to Olivet Nazarene University will receive an academic award, scholarship, or grant to attend. And like Steve said, all of our scholarships are renewed every year automatically. So they are 4 years. You would just submit your transcript first. I would recommend that the students submit the transcript first. We are a test optional school. So just do the transcript first. And then once you're accepted, we'll let you know if the test score will increase the scholarship. So that'd be awesome. I would say no application fee at all. We don't have an application fee at Olivet, so that's exciting. Students can just go in there and apply. Now, on to the FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It opens up December 1st, 2024 to the nation. It is currently, they did open it October 1st this year, but only for beta testing. So it's just really a testing that they're doing right now. So no need to remember that date right now. It's going to be the December 1st date for completing the FAFSA. And so to do that, when you apply for FAFSA, you're applying for scholarships, grants, work study, the work program through FAFSA, low interest rate student loans, as well as any parent, as well as lower interest rate parent loans. So you're applying for everything when you do the one form called the FAFSA. Excited about that. Again, that date is December 1st, 2024. And the website that you are going to go to complete the FAFSA is studentaid.gov. That's student, STUDENT, and then the word aid, AID.gov, GOV as in victory. Studentaid.gov is the website that you will go to. So what I have here is a prototype that I'm going to go through pretty quickly just to get you familiar with the page and how the portal looks for you. This is a prototype, so it's pretty limited. Here's a couple of things to tell you. Every contributor, financial contributor in the household and the student will need what's called an FSA ID, username and password. So that is an FSA ID. You can actually go out and get the FSA ID today or tonight or tomorrow or this week. I would say create those early and then put them somewhere and then put the FSA ID somewhere safe. So each parent in the household, as well as the student, will need to create an FSA ID username and password using their date of birth, their specific email address, and their social security number. Okay. For the students who are graduating in May or June of 2025, and you're planning to go to college in the fall of 2025, you will complete the 2025-26 FAFSA form. The reason I stress that so much is because when you go out to the website, studentaid.gov, there will be another FAFSA form out there, and it's the 2425 FAFSA form. And that is not the form that you will need to complete if the student is going to school in September of 2025 for the first time, okay? So graduates, for our high school seniors right now, you're going to complete the 2025-26 FAFSA form to start college in the fall of 2025, okay? I was trying to keep up with what I saw in the chat. Okay, so this is,
I can answer the
chat.
the
Okay.
chat. You can go ahead and talk.
Okay, perfect. So this is how the website looks nowadays. If you filled out the FAFSA before, parents, if you have other students who are in college right now, your FSA ID is still the same. So that's okay. All right, this is the website, right? It's a prototype, so it's a little limited. Raya Tran is the student, and then Alcina Tran is the parent. We're going to launch Raya's first. So here's Raya. She has created her FSA ID username and password. And so she has entered it to enter into the website. Down here, where you see create an account, that is where you would go to create an FSA ID username and password, okay? So we're gonna log in as Raya right now. This is how the form looks. It says get help to pay for school. We're gonna start a new 2025-26 FAFSA form. If you complete the FAFSA form, but you need to go back in to make some corrections, or you want to add another school to your FAFSA form, you can do that after about 4 days after you submit the FAFSA the first time. Then you can go back in and edit it. What we're going to do for Raya is start her new form. Okay, so it says, welcome, Raya. Welcome to the FAFSA form. I am starting the FAFSA form as a student. So the FAFSA form is now generated to really keep the student's information separate from the parents' information, trying to keep everybody's information safe. It used to be that you could just sit as a family and really do the FAFSA form all at one time, but it is not that way any longer. The student is actually going to send the parent an invitation to join their FAFSA and complete their section. So that way the student isn't seeing the parent information. So there you go. It's a long story. I'm going to keep going. So I'm starting as the student. So here we go. Understanding the FAFSA form. I'm going to click through these, but these are some great videos that you can watch and get more information. Why is FAFSA important? Who is a contributor for the FAFSA? What to expect when you complete the FAFSA. These are good videos. I do recommend that you watch them. After submitting the FAFSA form, what happens? Okay, those are great. So now we've seen all those videos. We're going to click Start FAFSA Form. So here we go. Student identity information. So this information was built in the FSA ID area. So already you will see that Raya's whole social security number is not reflected. You cannot change the social security number in the FAFSA, only through your FSA ID username and password. So already her information is in there. It's already input from the FSA ID. Okay, that's her demographic information. Continue. Well, okay. Student state of legal residence, New York, because that's where her residence was, in New York. And I'm going to say she was a legal resident since 12/20/03. Continue. Provide consent and approval, or you won't be eligible for federal student aid. So here, parents, what's important is there used to be a process in the FAFSA, Steve, where it would say you could choose to download your information from the IRS into the FAFSA, and it was called a data retrieval tool in the old FAFSA. Now, there is no data retrieval process or any of that. You actually provide consent and approval. When you do that right here, parents and students, if they worked and filed for 2023, and their tax information will automatically be downloaded into the FAFSA. This is it. If you do not approve this and consent, the student will not be eligible for federal student aid.
So bottom line is they need to approve.
Yeah.
They want financial aid. Okay.
All right. We are securely importing your information. So there you go, right? Success. We have confirmed your information with the IRS, but you may have to answer some additional questions in the finance section. And those are just self-reported numbers that they're going to ask you for. Like how much do you have in your savings and things like that. Okay. Again, we're talking about the student right here, though, parents. Keep in mind that this area right here is going to always tell you who is on the FAFSA, whose information they're asking for. We are still on Raya, the student, okay? So for her personal circumstances, we'll ask you some questions, okay? Okay, Raya, what is your current marital status? Single, never married. She's an 18-year-old student in high school. Not that, she's a 17-year-old student in high school, senior in high school. Let's just say that's the example. All right, continue. Raya, when you began college in 25-26, what will be your grade level for college? It's going to be first year freshman. Let me answer my parents who will say, my student has 30 credit hours from being dual enrolled. That's awesome. But this question is more so for students. Have you ever received financial aid to go to college? And the answer for that would be no. So they would be still considered a first year freshman, even though they're bringing with them 30 credits from dual enrollment. Okay.
That's for our Prairie State students or KACC students or any students who get college credit. It does not matter because they didn't get financial aid, like what Kimberly said. So it's definitely first year freshman.
All right. When the student begins 25-26 school year, will they have their first bachelor's degree? No. She's just now pursuing her bachelor's degree. Continue. Personal circumstances. The student is currently serving on active duty. No. The student is a veteran. No. The student has children. No, not in this example, guys. Parents, keep in mind, because you're like, oh my God, why are they asking my 17-year-old these questions? Keep in mind that this form is for everyone in the nation to fill out. So like when my mom was 60, she wanted to go back to college, and this is the one form that everyone fills out. So the student can be a 17-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 60-year-old, on and on. Okay. So we're just like, no. At any time since the student turned 13, they were an orphan. So answering these questions if they apply. At any time since the student turned 13, were they a ward of the court? At any time since the student turned 13, were they in foster care? And they go on. For this example and for the sake of time, we're going to say none of these apply. Okay. Again, if you have special cases, we are available by telephone. All right. Student homelessness. At any time on or after July 1, 2024, was the student unaccompanied and either one, homeless or self-supporting and at risk of being homeless? I'm going to say no for this example. Keep going. Student unusual circumstances. Do unusual circumstances prevent the student from contacting their parents? No. Okay, for this example, no. Continue. Your dependency status. Okay, based on your answers, you are a dependent student. This means you must provide parent information on your FAFSA form. Okay, so then they ask one more question. Direct unsub loan. Are the student's parents refusing to provide their information on this form? No. For this example, continue. Tell us about the student's parents. Oh, here we go, parents. So now it's going to ask about the parent information. Are the parents married? For this example, I'm going to say no. Do the parents live together? No. Did one parent provide more financial support than the other parent over the past 12 months? I'm going to say no. Has the parent you identified in the previous question remarried? I'm going to say no. So here, what this section is doing, parents, is it will customize your FAFSA and tell you which parent information has to be included on the FAFSA. So it automatically takes you through what you can consider a wizard, and it will tell you exactly which parent to include on the FAFSA, which parents, I should say, to include on the FAFSA. Okay. In my example for Raya, her parent, her mom, Alcina Tran, is a single parent. So that's just for this example. Okay. Again, allow this FAFSA form to give you the wizard to go through and let you know which parent or parents to include on the FAFSA. Okay. Provide information for this parent only. So this is the result of the answers that I have put in. Based on your answers in the previous section, you'll need to provide information about only this parent. Okay. Continue. Oh, let me go back, parents, because that's pretty important. Previous. Okay, tell us about the student's parents. What if I said, are your parents married to each other? Yes. Then it just says, provide information for both parents. Based on your answers in the previous section, you'll need to provide information about both parents, okay? Let's go back to previous. Okay.
I have a question. So if if they're married and they file jointly, does mom have to get an FSA ID and dad have to get an FSA ID? I thought it was just one or the other, but they both have to now?
Now they both have to, because what they'll do is they'll both go in, Steve, and provide approval and consent.
Huh.
I know. Yep. So parents, I hope this is pretty clear on how the wizard selects for you who the parents are to include on the FAFSA. Still for mine, it's going to be all no's, and I'm going to move through. Well, now we get to this invite, this invite, okay, for the parents. Steve, is this something right here?
Oh, yeah.
Invite parents to this FAFSA form. So now parents are getting an invitation. So now I will need to tell them about my mom, Miss Alcina, last name Tran. I didn't write down her date of birth, Anna. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember either. I don't think it'll hurt if you just throw something in there.
Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Tyler or Anna, do you know the answer to that question? Parent plus loan.
1983. What's the question?
Parent plus loan be taken out in only one parent's name?
Yes, the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Tyler. And so then here's now parents, this information that the student puts in for the parent has to match the Social Security Administration. So to my parents, if let's say, for example, mom got married to dad, but didn't change her name at the Social Security Administration, then she would have to put the last name in here that's listed on her Social Security card, because this information goes through the Social Security Administration. Sometimes I have students whose parents are not citizens of the United States and they don't have a Social Security number. If that's the case, the student would check this box right here. You see that, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. And so now email address. And then confirm email address. Oh no. I want to show you this.
You're good. We're okay on time.
And so then send invite. So here, parents, here, the student is actually going to send you an invite to their FAFSA. Watch this. Okay, here it is. Invite parents. Okay, so now it says enter information about your parents, which we did. All right. Invite has been sent to Alcina Tran. You see that, parents? Oh my goodness.
So they have to wait to get the invite from the student.
It's pretty immediate.
So
as
the
long
parents,
as the information matches.
okay. But the parent, in order to get into that invite, parents have to have a FSA ID number.
Correct. And let me tell you this, Steve, because that's a good question. Here's the thing, parents, when you guys create your FSA ID username and password, I want you to write down your email address that you used, because that information has to match what the student types in. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important.
Okay. Because they're checking it. So if I would have entered the parent information and I would have used a different email address, the FAFSA would have came back and said it doesn't match what we have in our system for your parent. It doesn't match.
Yeah, because the student has to put in the parent email address, don't they?
The same email address that parent used to create their FSA ID.
Okay. And then so the student's going to have to know not just the mom's email address, but the dad's email address too.
Correct. And let me take you guys one step further, which will save you a lot of headache. This will save you a lot of headache. For my parents who are married, filed joint. For my parents who are married, filed joint. Pull out your 2023 federal tax return, and whoever is listed as the first parent on the top of the tax return, put that parent in parent 1 box. And then whoever is listed second, list that parent as the second parent on the FAFSA. I promise you, it'll go a long way. It was such a, I mean, it was one thing that almost exploded my brain last year with the FAFSA, because we couldn't figure out why it couldn't see the tax return for the parent. But it was because on the IRS database search, it was searching for parent 1 on the line 1, first parent listed, but parent 2 was listed on the FAFSA first, and it just would not match. So it was a thing. Okay. All right, student demographics. I'm gonna fly, Steve. I'm so sorry. This is good though. This is FAFSA honest. Student demographic information: female, continue, race, ethnicity, prefer not to answer, continue, student citizenship, U.S. citizen, continue, parent education, don't know, continue, parent killed in the line of duty, for this example, no, continue. All right, high school completion status. For my high school seniors, it is high school diploma. Okay, continue. High school information, state is New York. Okay. City, any of them? Any will do. There we go. This is a prototype, guys, so I don't have any choices. I can't put in Beecher. I can't do it. It's just it only has a select amount of answers. Okay, so search, and then it says, okay, we found your high school. I have to select my high school name and say continue. Okay, confirm your high school. Yes, that's it. Continue. You can get through it pretty quickly, parents. Your finances. So this is still talking to the student, Raya. Continue. Now, these are self-reported answers for the student. The student doesn't have a retirement plan. doesn't have a pension, no college grants, foreign income, no, continue. We're doing great here. Current total of cash, savings, and checking. For this example, it's going to be 0. Current net worth of investments, including real estate, but not the home you live in, 0. Current net worth of business. This is 0 for the student because she's 17. She doesn't have any of these items. Continue. Select colleges and career schools. Continue. We are all the way on step 4 right now. Where should we send the FAFSA information? This is where you enter the college. This is where you begin to enter the college information you want to send, that you want to send the FAFSA information to. Just to note, parents, this information only goes to the schools that you authorize on this FAFSA form. It does not, no one else can access it. So I'm going to say New York. Okay, New Jersey, Arlington, school name.
You can choose up to 20 schools, and you can also, the student can go in and change those schools too.
Mm-hmm.
If they do change the schools, do the parents have to go in afterwards and still approve those schools like what you said? No.
It'll let you know when when the student submits it, then it'll say, we need your parent to, it'll say invite your parents again.
Oh,
but I think for adding schools, you don't need to, just to add schools. Yep. All right. Select colleges. There we go. That's the college I selected.
and don't worry, parents, if you select colleges and you don't end up going to those colleges, that's totally fine. That's actually part of the whole deal.
Mhm.
And you actually probably want to select as many colleges as you want so you can get that financial aid package back from the schools to see how
Yeah.
much it's going to cost.
Right. That's a good point, Steve. What's so important about the FAFSA and adding the schools on there? What you're saying is, I want to know how much it's going to cost my student, to my son or daughter, to attend your college, because all colleges cost different and all colleges offer different scholarships and grants and aid packages. So what you're saying to each and every college that you put on the FAFSA is, how much will it cost me for my son or daughter to attend your school? And again, that's different at every school. So you want to list all the schools that your son or daughter are interested in. Just keep in mind, in order to receive a financial aid package, generally speaking, students have to be accepted to those colleges, as well as list those colleges on the FAFSA. I'm going to say continue for this example. Review your FAFSA responses. I'm done, guys. Look, so you can go in and review the responses. Okay.
That's not bad.
Not bad, right? For the first time through. This section is shared with one contributor. So there you go. I listed my parent, Alcina Tran, on here. And then continue.
Just for the sake of time, everyone, we got through this, it looks like. I'm going to open it up for any questions that the parents may have. I know that was a lot of information, parents. I did record this, but still, if you want to ask a question, go ahead and just, if you want to take your mic off, or you can email me or all of it later. It's totally up to you how you want to ask your questions.
Mr. Sarsney, it's Roseanne Melcarrick. I have a really quickie.
Sure.
So I wrote down here, you were talking about transcripts have to be in by November 1st. So we're applying in our senior year. So then transcripts will only be for like what, freshman, sophomore, junior year then? How does that work?
Well, transcripts will show when they send it their senior year, it's going to have on their transcript their freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. When they graduate in May, I send a final transcript to that
Okay.
college and university. So the students get accepted. Yeah, they get accepted right now up to their junior year. So the last grades of their junior year are so important. That is, their freshman, sophomore, junior year and their test scores. That's what gets them into, the majority of the schools. And then the schools do look at what classes they're taking. We do put that on our transcript. So they know, hey, is this student? I always tell students their senior year, don't think you're going to get away having an easy load your senior year, because colleges do look at that, and we put that on their transcript. So always important that they challenge themselves their senior year. Good question. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts or anything? Sure they should. No, you want to wait. Probably you want to visit colleges now. You want to start visiting as juniors. If you're a junior right now, I would start visiting colleges. I would start talking to those reps. I would start doing everything you possibly can to look up information and school links. But man, there's nothing better than actually visiting colleges. I'm sure Olivet loves having students on their campus. They can show them around. And it really gives a student their, it gets them a gut feeling when they go and see these students, and they can really tell if it's, a good fit. There's no such thing as a perfect college, but there is such a thing as a good fit for students. And definitely, yeah. Let's see. Trying to check this. Maria Clayback's. Oh wait, here we go. Where is Maria Clayback has her?
So if we got sent an email, this is Claudia, by the way, her daughter. Hi SARS. So if the college sent an email and they want me to apply for FAFSA, like that started October 1st, should I apply now? Will it let me apply for 2025, 2026, or should I wait till December?
You should definitely wait until December. If you go in, it'll give you a message that they are just doing a beta test. And they're selecting the people who can go in. You can try it, but you don't want to be part of a beta test, I promise.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah.
I would reach out to the school, honestly, and let them know that, is there an extension, because the FAFSA isn't opening up to the nation until December 1st. So maybe they created that material before, because the Department of Education did promise that it was really going to open October 1st. And then they recently came up and said, well, it's going to open October 1st, but we're going to do a beta test, and it's really going to open December 1st. So if I were you, I would go back to the school official and say, the FAFSA really doesn't open until December 1st. Is there an extension on this? Because, yeah.
Yeah, definitely wait till December 1st. I'd agree.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one more real quick. Now I might be mistaken, but do most parents understand like how much that Pell Grant is? Because I think there's a little misconception that you're getting a humongous lump sum of money. It's only about $7,300 max, right?
Yeah, that is the maximum Pell Grant amount. It has gone up significantly over the years. But yeah, $7,395 is the maximum.
Yeah.
The minimum is like $600. There are just ranges
Right.
based on the household income information.
Right. Yeah, because I think that because I've been having conversations with some parents and they had no idea. And I was like, no, you're not getting like $20,000-$30,000 worth of money. That's going to be with loans and such, this is just sort of like a little help. Yeah.
I think it's, from what I understand, the federal government has this just formula, I guess. It's all income based from what I understand.
Yeah.
And that's how they
as well as
figure
household size and
household size, income based, and that's kind of how they calculate your grants. The state of Illinois has really good grants too. That's why you need to fill out your FAFSA first. It's called, I believe, MAP money.
Yeah.
They had at least, I think they had a lot of money left over from that last year. So
yeah. In 2018, the MAP grant for Illinois was $4,400 or something like that. Today, the MAP grant is $8,400.
oh, that's a lot of money.
Incredible.
Is that
The state of
renewable?
Illinois, huh?
Is that renewable or is that just for
It's based on
1 year?
eligibility every year.
Eligibility, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the state of Illinois is really serious about keeping our students here in Illinois.
Any other questions? I think we got it wrapped up. Everyone who joined, I really appreciate you guys being on here. I hope this helped out a little bit. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can definitely, answer questions. I'll have this I recorded it. I'll send it out. I'll have Mr. Duncan post it. And I want to thank Tyler, Scott, Anna, and Kimberly very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And thanks again. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. See ya.
So.
Bye.